Grr, arg.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Mixtape Podcast, the podcast dedicated to discussing film from a screenplay writer's perspective. I'm your host for this week. My name is Marcelo Nishoza, joined as always by my fellow co host, Dean Stark. And on today's edition of the show, we will be doing a request from one of our listeners, Matthew Powell, and he requested that we discuss the 2013 TV movie Sharknado. So, with all that being said and done with, I will kick it over to Dean so she can take us through this interesting film.
I had a hard time with this, not watching it, reviewing it. Sharknado makes no sense. The entire story makes no sense. And I'm sitting here like, should I review it from a screenwriter's perspective? Because Sharknado is a fun popcorn movie. You sit down, it's supposed to be absurd. It's not supposed to make sense. Everything is all over the place. That's what it's supposed to be. So anyway, Sharknado 2013, directed by Anthony C. Ferrante, written by Thunder Levin. So when a freak hurricane swamps Los Angeles, nature's deadliest killer rules the sea, land, and air as thousands of sharks terrorize the population. So the opening scene, yeah, even that is just like, okay. But this is a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. And if anybody knows anything about Sci-Fi Channel original movies, it's literally like Velociraptor versus fucking giant octopus. Like that's sci-fi original movies. But again, it's just supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be Oscar winning. So the opening scene, 20 miles off the coast of Mexico. And we're aboard like a poaching boat. And they're poaching sharks for their fins to sell to the Asian marketplace so they can make shark fin soup. And there's a huge storm that hits, and sharks from the ocean get lifted up in this like hurricane onto the vessel, onto the boat, and they start eating the crew, and like a tornado forms with the sharks in it, scooping up all the sharks, and basically eating the captain, eating the Asian businessman that was there to taste the shark fin soup. Why an Asian businessman, a high-level Asian businessman, is on a rickety old vessel trying the soup there, I don't know. That makes no sense. Yeah. And how would they be making soup? So what, they get no, I'm going into screenwriter mode again. No. Anyway, that's the opening scene. And I think they tried to make it make sense. Like, oh, this is where the shark tornado come from. The only thing that I can guess as to how the shark tornado happened is that the sharks were really angry that they were getting poached and then created this tornado of sharks as like a fight back against humanity about with what people were doing to them. That's the only logical, and I say logical flimsily, thing in my mind that I can come up with. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so listen, if you say that the sharks made up this tornado to get back at humankind for the fact that they're being poached out of existence, I say to you, where the fuck was Aquaman in this movie? Because shouldn't have Aquaman helped them out?
No, because he's letting them deal with it themselves. He goes, you know what? You got this. He's got other shit he's got villains and shit to deal with, okay? He doesn't have poachers. Yeah. He doesn't care about poachers.
He doesn't care about yes, but the opening sequence to this movie was absolutely absurd. I thought that the captain's accent was way over the top. Like Dean said, I can't even get that with a straight face. The fact that this Asian businessman is drinking shark soup on the actual ship, the boat is rickety. The fact that the Asian businessman starts shooting up the place once everything goes to shit. So what? So let me understand what your plan was. If you didn't like the price from the captain, you were just going to shoot him and take the soup anyway. So that didn't make fucking sense either. The visual effects in this movie are so fucking laughable.
Oh yeah,
that
they're bad.
it's
Oh
just,
yeah.
it's just so it's yeah, but this is one of those movies that it's so bad it's kind of good.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I
no,
mean. No, but that's what I mean. Like it's so bad, but it's kind of good, but
yeah,
not good. It's kind of good.
yeah. I mean, look, what Dean said in the opening is that sci-fi had this um um sci-fi had this reputation of making really really bad TV movies, and I think that sci-fi delivered with that with just the opening sequence uh of this TV movie, because it was absolutely a disaster. It was just bad.
I just love how the Asian businessman, you know, he's got all this money. So he's brought a suitcase of cash onto this rickety boat. And he's shown the captain, I'll pay you this for all the shark fins that you've got. And then he decides to turn a gun on the captain saying, haha, I'm taking the money and I'm taking the shark fins. And I'm like, you're in the middle of the ocean. Where are you going? You don't know how to captain a boat. Where the fuck are you going? But anyway, that just added to the absurdity of the whole. And then he gets done by a shark. And I'm like, yeah, fuck. Anyway, that was the opening scene. So you can see what we're in for. But at least it set up the tone of the movie, the absurdity of the movie. So at least the screenwriter fucking got that right. So scene 1, we're introduced to Finn, which is played by Ian Ziering, which is I think he was Steve in 902. Yeah, Steve from 90210. So fans of Beverly Hills 90210 will know him. And he's a surfer, and he's walking next to his Australian other surfer friend, and it's so funny. There's a shot. No, not yet. I'm not saying any, because he hasn't. The Australian guy has not done anything to piss me off yet. He's not done anything yet. But he will though. He will. What I find funny, we're introduced to Finn. He's in a wetsuit. He's carrying a surfboard next to his Australian friend. They're having a conversation about literally fuck all. Like it doesn't have anything to do with anything. And then there's a shot of him running into the water, running into the ocean. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to catch some waves. And it's flat. It's like a river. And I'm like, what wave? And then there's a shot of waves of him catching a wave. I'm like, where's the wave come from? They've just fucking got it out. It was obviously two different beaches, right? Obviously two different beaches. But the thing about that is that we're introduced to the main character, but we don't learn anything about him. We just learn that he surfs, which has nothing to do with anything. But that was that scene. Thoughts?
Yeah, this scene was just agonizingly bad because, like Dean just said, we learn one critical thing about this guy, that he is a surfer. And I just couldn't contain myself when he went into the water and he said, oh, I'm going to look for some waves, but then there are no waves. And then like a second later, we see him riding away. So I'm like, oh, nice, timely place, lazy cut to get out of there. That's just like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So the next scene is we are at a restaurant named Finn. So obviously it's him because his name is Finn. And we meet my favorite character, Nova, and she's a waitress. And I like her because she can actually act. I've seen her in a lot of other things. And
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna. She was actually my favorite character in the whole movie, and that's why I had half a heart attack.
Yeah.
In the third act.
Oh yeah, I did too when I first watched it. I'm like, what? No. Anyway, we'll get to that. So anyway, Nova, she's a waitress, and she sees on the television in the restaurant that a huge storm is coming. So that sets that up. And there's a patron named George, and he touches her. He's just an old kind of drunk, and he touches her inappropriately on the butt, and she manhandles him. She doesn't care that he's a fucking paying patron. She manhandles him. She basically tells him to F off, and then spills his drink and demands he buy another one. And I'm like, okay, I like you. You don't take shit. You fucking, nobody touches me. Like I thought that she was probably the only one that was written well, or maybe it was the actress that I liked because she actually brought it to life. But anyway, The patron notices that there's a scar on her leg, which she doesn't want to talk about, but will. It's literally right at the end of the movie that we learn how she got that scar, which I think should have been set up in the beginning, not at the end, because the scar is kind of her backstory, but we only see it in this scene, and then we see it in one of the last scenes of the movie, and I think it was just like, you didn't need it to have it in there. But anyway, that's the setup of Finn has a restaurant, the storm is coming, we meet Nova, we meet George, because George kind of comes along with us on the rise, and we see her scar. So it set up a few things. What do you think?
Yeah, look, as far as Nova is concerned, defending herself once that bar painter guy was sort of macking on her, I really like that, because I really, really like strong characters in movies, and even in even bad movies. The thing that I hate is when writers write weak women, and Nova is definitely not one of those. I would have preferred if the writer of this movie, after it was revealed that Nova had the scar, if she could have possibly gone to the back of this store to get something, and there could have been like a quick flashback showing us scenes of Nova's childhood to sort of explain the scar, because by the time that we find out where this scar came from, I go, it's too late.
I agree with everything that you said. They should have done that, but they didn't. We're back with Finn, and he's sitting on his surfboard, flat. There's no waves, and then a girl paddles, and the water's brown. I don't know where they shot this, but look, I live in Australia. I don't do brown water. We don't do brown water, so I don't even know what the beaches are like in Los Angeles. But I was like, ugh, I wouldn't even touch that. Sorry, sorry. I'm a beach. What's the word?
You're a beach bum.
I'm a beach bum, but I judge beaches accordingly. So anyway, a girl paddles out, and she tells him, "I'm going to show you how it's done." And I'm like, show him how what's done. But the funny thing is,
it's so stupid.
It's so stupid. But it's funny because there's a shot, a wide shot where she comes I'm going to show you how it's done. Now, if you were filming in a location where there were no waves, as a director, which I am not, you would do close-ups to not show that there's no waves. A movie that does this great is Blue Crush. So they do a lot of tight close-ups when Kate Bosworth is like paddling out, when she's sitting on her board talking to the other surfers, because there's no waves. But the director doesn't show there's no. It's a great movie. The director doesn't show there's no waves by doing tight shots. But obviously this director didn't do that. And I'm like, oh, you're going to show him what? How to paddle? How to swim? What are you going to show him? And then she turns around, and then there's this wide shot of like waves, and she's riding the waves, and I'm like, fuck. All right then, cool. And then Finn is watching her, and then he sees a shark come up, and she gets attacked by a shark. The shark jumps out and kind of pulls her off the board, and then he sees a swarm of sharks come racing towards the beach and just start like grabbing people. And this is the first incident I have with this fucking Australian guy. I actually had to look him up. I'm like, is he Australian? Really? And he is. Unfortunately, he's one of us. So Finn's friend, the Australian guy, is on a jet ski, and he sees all these sharks circling, but he doesn't move. Why would you be, why are you sitting there not moving when the shark's circling you? Why doesn't he move? He's just sitting there like, doo-doo-doo, and then he gets bit. And then Finn goes and saves him. And I'm like, you're saving the Australian guy that's on a jet ski. Anyway, that was that. Thoughts?
By the way, did you also notice that Finn didn't move either? After he saw the swarm of the sharks?
Yeah.
Like,
he didn't move either.
The director kept showing the panic on the beach, and he kept showing Finn in the water saying, "Get out, get out, get out." So it was so fucking absurd. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, he didn't move. I guess that showed that Finn is fearless. I guess that showed more of his character. I'm going to go with that.
What character?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Next scene. We're at later on at Finn's restaurant. Finn is there, and we learn Nova has I don't know why this is even a thing. Nova has a thing for Finn, but Finn keeps pushing her off, saying, no, this is not going to happen. I'm your boss. That kind of went nowhere. I get why they did it. They did it to show that he's a good guy, that he's not a fuckwit, that he has standards and morals, and he's not just going to go, have sex with his waitresses just because he can. I mean, it did show his character, but it was I don't know, it went nowhere. It was just to set up his character, but it wasn't a running theme through the script. So that was kind of just stupid. The news comes on again and says there's a hurricane coming towards them. Finn calls April, which is played by Tara Reid, and she's very snippy with him. She's like, oh, why are you calling? Oh, I don't want to talk to you. Like her character, and it's his ex-wife or his wife, and he tells them to get out of town before the hurricane hits. Take Georgia, I think that's her name, which is his daughter. And she thinks he's just, oh, you're being ridiculous. I'm so far away from the ocean. Like, it's just a hurricane, blah, blah, blah. Finn sees the storm approaching, and his bar is like right on the beach. The tide starts coming onto the sand, starts rising, and then hits the shops, and then hits his bar or his restaurants. Sharks start flying through the air. They start flying through the windows of Finn's restaurant. There's anarchy as the ocean and the wind are kind of like relentless. Everybody's running everywhere. And that was that scene. So that kind of pushed the story forward. And you learned that Finn is not a dickhead. Finn called his wife or ex-wife. She's a complete a-hole throughout the whole thing. She's not likable at all. And that's about it. So the hurricane is hit. So the Sharknado hasn't hit yet, but it is coming. So that kind of pushed the story forward.
I really think that the relationship with Finn and Nova was a missed opportunity because, like Dean said, they sort of hint at it, but they use Nova's feelings for Finn to show Finn's morals, and I'm like, I would have much rather had Finn end up with Nova than Finn possibly end up with Tara Reid's character, who obviously is a bitch and she doesn't give a shit about him.
No, I agree.
The only thing that I've ever seen Tara Reid in where I could actually stand her is the original American Pie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where she wasn't, where she was like, could act.
Yeah, and I mean, and also she had a cast around her that were she had a cast around her that were way better actors than she was. Yeah,
that's true. So moving on in the story, Finn, Nova, the Australian guy, and George from the bar get in their car because they've got to get the fuck out. And as they're driving along the freeway or the highway, they notice that the streets are filling up with water. It's just becoming flooded because the tide is there's like tidal waves coming in. And there's sharks swimming next to them up and down the street. And they see people getting out of their cars. They don't know what to do, and they're getting grabbed by sharks. And so Finn says, I'm going to help them. So he gets out of the fucking car and he helps people that are like trying to, I don't know, escape.
How are you going to help them?
I don't know. By sheer will? I don't know.
And also Bill, or whatever the fuck his name is, he whacks a fucking shark with a fucking bar stool. Like,
oh, George, yeah.
Oh my George. Oh my.
He whacks it with a bar stool, and then he turns around, and a shark comes flying and just eats him whole. Bye, George.
But hold up. Actually, George actually gets eaten whole because he actually attempts to save a dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're gonna die because you tried to say again, folks. Before I say this, I'm not a dog person. You're gonna die saving a fucking dog.
A lot of people would though. That's the thing.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, a lot of people would. So the most disturbing thing about this scene is George dies and they all get back in the car. And, oh no, sorry. Before George dies, before they get out of the car, and I left this to the end of the scene because I have something to say about it. When Finn says, I'm going to get out and help people, which we've already talked about, the Australian guy leans forward and says, you got too many kangaroos loose in the paddock, mate. Okay. Let's just talk about this fucking Australian guy. Paddock is not an Australian word. Paddock is a British word. Nobody around here in Australia says the word paddock. The lines that they give him to say are so absurd, and as an Australian, I get pissy because the writers put no research into this at all. So what do you think about that scene, Marcelo?
I was thinking, are you supposed to be Australian or are you supposed to be British? I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's nothing that pisses me off more is when I see an Australian actor in a movie and what they're saying is just like what Americans think we say. And it's just like, oh God, it hurts me. It hurts me that they do no research into how we actually fucking speak. It hurts me because it is not the same as English, as British people talk. It's the Aussie guy. I just didn't like his face. And Marcelo, you know what I'm like with faces. I really did not like his face. I was like, I can't look at your face anymore. And the fact that you're Australian disturbs me. So anyway, Nova, Finn, and the Aussie guy arrive at Finn's ex-wife's house, which is fucking Tara Reid.
What the fuck?
Did you see the shoes he was wearing? Oh my fucking God. He was wearing like dress shoes. So he's supposed to be like a beach bogan. He's got these like shorts on and like a shirt with these like highly hoity-toity like dress shoes on. And I'm like, what? Why are you not wearing like at least like sneakers? Like, oh my God, it was every time they did a wide shot and I saw his shoes, I'm like, who is the costume designer in this? What the fuck? It's like the top half of him is like, I'm going to the beach, and the bottom half is like, I'm going to like a fancy dress party, like a black tie party or something. Oh, it was just so annoying. So they get to Finn's, they arrive at Finn's ex-wife's house, which is Tara Reid, and it's pouring outside. And they knock on the door. April opens it, and it's just she just flat out refuses. I'm not letting you in. And I'm like, they're literally like pouring rain. No, I'm not. Go away. I'm not letting you in. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're like soaking wet and freezing. A shark comes flying out of the sewer manhole cover, propelled by water. Nova has a shotgun because she's cool. She's the only character that's cool. She has a shotgun. She shoots it. It dies. April goes, oh, now you can come in. And I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, she lets them in.
First of all,
yeah, go for it. Tell me.
First of all, why is there a big fucking drain next to a house? I'm like, what?
We're watching Sharknado. Why? Who knows? because there is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they needed the shot. That's why. That's not even the worst. There's fucking worse coming on. So we're in the house and we meet Claudia, which is Finn's a-hole daughter. She's about, I don't know, fucking 17, 18, I don't know. And April's new boyfriend, who is also an a-hole. And then April, a-hole number 1, tells her boyfriend, a-hole number 2, to stop being an asshole. And I'm like, okay, but you're both assholes. It's just, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then sharks, because the hurricane's getting worse, sharks start busting into the living room with water, and the living room starts to flood. And then a-hole number 2 a-hole number 2, yes, which is the boyfriend, gets it by a shark, gets eaten, fucking his face gets eaten off, great. And then they kill the shark. The lounge room is flooded, and fuck. I can't even say it. Like, I'm going to say it. I can't even say it. Flooded by blah, blah, blah. They kill the shark. The lounge room is flooded and the water is red. And the Australian guy says, looks like it's that time of the month.
I swear to God. I swear to fucking Christ, guys. if I didn't have to talk about this movie on this fucking podcast, that's why I would have turned the movie off. I was like, no, just go fuck off.
Why would he even agree as an actor
Why?
to say that line? But why?
Also,
the writer in this movie is clearly a guy. Because what the fuck? Why would you say that? That's
but also nothing in this movie makes logical sense, and I really think that these actors took this movie because they needed, like, this.
Clearly,
this movie is a definition. This movie is a definition of a paycheck movie.
Yes,
and that's the only reason that you do it, because no person in their right mind would read this script and think, "Oh, this is a good idea."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that was, and I couldn't believe the Aussie guy said it. I was like, oh, I just want to hit you over the head with a fucking shovel. Fuck. I just want to see you drown.
Fucking bat.
Fuck. So we find out that Finn has a son who conveniently attends flight school. So they're going to go get him. And that's the end of that fucking scene.
The only thing I will say is that's convenient.
So, where are we? So Finn spots, so they're driving along, going to see his son at flight school to see if he's okay. And Finn spots a busload of kids like floating down the river and they can't get out. So he decides he's going to rappel down the bridge because they're on a bridge. He stops on the bridge and save.
With what?
Well, and save them. But conveniently, he has climbing gear and knows how to rappel.
No, but also what I was thinking is, okay, let's say you're able to get all these fucking kids out of the bus and onto the bridge. Where the fuck are you gonna put these kids? Are you just gonna leave them out on there on the fucking bridge and drive off?
Yeah, well, clearly, have fun, kids. Clearly, because there's nowhere. There's nothing.
Oh my god.
So anyway, somehow he knows how to do that, and he saves them one by one, and then as he's shimmying back up the rope, a shark jumps at him, trying to get him, but he makes it up the bridge, and they look in the distance, and they see like tornadoes or water spouts heading towards them filled with sharks, and this is the Sharknado.
First of all, okay, seeing the kids on the side of the road and wanting to help them because getting them out of the bus is a good idea. Okay, but first of all, getting these kids out of the bus and onto the bridge is problem number one. Okay, let's say you do that. But problem number two, like I just said, are you going to fucking leave them there on the bridge? And how the fuck the rope climbing gear didn't break when the fucking fat guy went on it, I don't know.
The teacher. Yeah, I don't know.
And
movie magic.
Also, when people were being repelled from the bus to the bridge, did you notice that the Australian guy was holding everybody's weight? There's no fucking way that fucking little twerp motherfucker could hold everybody's weight. Are you kidding me?
Look, by that time I'd blocked him out. Okay, I blocked him out of the whole fucking thing.
This movie, and but I was really happy when the guy when the bus driver says, "I originally came to Hollywood to be an actor," and he goes, I make minimum wage, I have no health benefits, and I'm gonna fucking.
Oh, my mom said Hollywood would kill me.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
And then and then he eventually gets killed by like a fucking flying piece of metal. Yeah. I thought that was great, but this movie is just, oh god, a lot.
They're in the car. They're back in the car when a shark lands on the top, trying to bite through the roof, and it does. Somehow, a shark can bite through the top of a car. So, yeah.
How are the fucking sharks breathing?
Well, the thing is, they jump, right, but then they land back in the water. So that's they're not walking on the land. They land back in the water. So that's kind of, not that I'm trying to justify anything in this film, but I would think that that's what would be happening. So anyway, Nova shoots the shark off the roof of the car, and then the car stops because Nova is driving. Not because she's driving, but she's driving, and she says, the car is flooded. And then my favorite dialogue in the whole movie, Finn's daughter in the back, and now I'm no mechanic, right? But she screams, "Fix it!" Again, I'm no mechanic, but I kind of get that you can't fix a flooded, okay, car, a flooded motor, a flooded engine. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. And then,
You can,
but wait a minute. They all jump out of the car and then it explodes. So that's came out of nowhere. How are you supposed to fix a car that's entirely flooded? Like you can't. You'd have to get the water out. You'd have to
yeah,
you know.
yeah. You have to. You would have to physically take out the fucking engine. Like, really? Also, I really feel that 99% of the dialogue in this movie by the other actors, I don't care whoever is saying, a lot of it is like ADR because it felt.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that's ADR. That's it. I'm like, everything in this fucking movie is ADR because it's so fucking.
Yep.
I cannot.
They arrive at the aviation center, which is where Finn's son is. And they see all the water spouts coming towards them, all the Sharknadoes. And they come together to make one mega tornado, mega shark tornado, or Sharknado, filled with sharks. And they find the sun, and the tornado, the tornado hits them. They're inside, but it hits them, and then it passes, and they're okay. They go out now. Listen to what I'm saying. The tornado, this massive tornado, hits them, passes them, which is fine. I have no issue with that. They go outside to see a helicopter untouched by the tornado that is usable. And I'm like, the tornado must have just gone around that one helicopter and then gone on its way. But they find a shed, which is with supplies. They go into the shed. I'm not sure why an aviation training school has a shed full of bombs, chainsaws, and weaponry. I'm not sure about that. And while Nova and her son and Finn's son are talking about how they're going to disperse the Sharknado, the Australian guy literally pops in, gives us a breakdown of how fucking weather works, and then fucks off. And I'm like, what? What? That's just so. Oh my god! I actually wanted to fucking cry. As if this movie could not get any worse. I wanted to fucking cry. Like, where did that come from? So they decide to make a bomb. I don't know how they're making a bomb, and drop it into the tornado to disperse it, and that's the fucking plan.
But fuck me. Wait a minute. They want to take a helicopter near a tornado. Now what is wrong with that? Like
everything?
There's no
and they get so close to the tornado and they're like totally fine.
What yes, there's no fucking way on God's green earth, hell, heaven or hell or whatever the fuck you believe in, that this helicopter can get that close to the fucking tornado without getting sucked into it.
I mean, look,
what the fuck?
Helicopter pilots will refuse to fly if the wind is at a certain kilometer pace, right? And that is far below what a tornado is. So,
yeah,
the fact that we'll get to it. We'll get to that bit. So, this was So Finn's daughter randomly starts a conversation with him about how he's never there for her and he's always there for the son. And I'm like, what the? There are sharks flying through the air and you're bringing up a conversation. You're bringing up daddy issues. I don't care about this girl. She's in like 2 scenes. die. Do you know what I mean? Just go and die. You'll be happy to know that the writer of this film has not written anything since 2019. And all he writes are fucking sci-fi movie crap. So, and he'll never be anything else because he doesn't know how to write dialogue. The director doesn't know how to. It's just bad. This is someone they found in some cardboard
Walmart.
Box somewhere. I don't know.
fucking Walmart.
Because Walmart has everything. Why not a screenwriter? I'll buy him for $50.
Why not?
So now we learn through a conversation between Nova and Finn's son what the scar is on Nova's leg. And it's a shark bite, which we kind of knew. It doesn't look like a shark bite, but it is. And this should have been set up at the beginning. She said, she was on a boat with her family and something happened to the boat. It sank and all her family got taken by sharks, but her, and she got rescued. And that's why she hates sharks. So it's supposed to show how she hates sharks. Nobody likes sharks. Nobody likes sharks. You think someone swimming in the ocean sees a shark and goes, hey, mate, hey, cool. Nobody fucking likes sharks. Okay, so you don't need to set up the fact that she doesn't like sharks flying at her head. Nobody is going to fucking like that. So the backstory was totally unnecessary. We didn't need the sob story about her family dying because it makes no difference because nobody fucking likes sharks. So, I think the screenwriter read a book on screenwriting, tried to put in, goes, okay, well, we need backstory on characters. Let's just do this. No fucking clue how to write. And we get this shit. Look, the actress did what she could, but it was shit.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to try and be serious here for a moment. If you're going to include backstory, if you're going to give backstory to your characters, you have to make it backstory that affects the plot or ties into the plot in some way. And like Dean just said, building a backstory to explain why a certain character hates sharks, especially in a movie like this, doesn't make sense at all. Because like Dean just said, everybody fucking hates sharks. Everybody hates sharks. I'm terrified of sharks and the water. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. But in a movie like this, it's not necessary. Like, what? No. Why the fuck are you? What? Like, just why?
The backstory would work if she had to go on a boat and get in the water. Then it would work. Then the fear, because her fear was set up from losing her family because they were attacked by sharks, then it would work. But that doesn't happen in this movie because she doesn't have to get into the water. But what she does have to do is get into a helicopter with Matt, which is Finn's son. And they get so close to the tornado, literally in the tornado. And the helicopter's totally stable, totally fine, no problem. So they do that. She throws bombs into, there's 3 Sharknadoes, into 2 of the Sharknadoes, and it disperses them. And I'm just going to overlook the fact that there's no way a helicopter could do that because we're watching a movie literally called Sharknado. So there's fucking sharks flying everywhere because when they disperse the Sharknado, the sharks have nowhere to go. They just fucking drop on everybody. And they, by this point, I've scribbled my notes. The sharks flying everywhere. They arrive. What the fuck did I somebody is grabbed by a shark. Oh, that's right. Oh my god, my favorite part.
The Australian guy.
The Aussie guy's grabbed by a shark. Fucking dead. Thank you, screenwriter. That's what I wrote. Fuck the Aussie guy. I couldn't figure out. Yes. Dead. Thank fuck. And so they try to disperse the third Sharknado, but when Nova throws it out, she misses. And then Nova gets grabbed by a shark and eaten whole because these sharks are not normal sharks. They're fucking mega sharks that can like eat people whole. And it was at that point when I watched it for the first time when it first came out, I was like, oh my God, are you really killing off the only character that's likable? Are you really doing this? But that was that scene.
Today, when I was watching this film in preparation for this conversation, and after I decided not to blow my brains out because the movie's so awful, I had a heart attack when Nova missed the tornado and got eaten by a shark and got eaten by the shark hole because, like Dean, she's my favorite character. So I was like, fuck all. Now all that we have left to root for is a bunch of dicks.
A bunch of dicks, yes.
I was like,
yeah. So Finn decides to drive to the very last Sharknado with a bomb in the back of the car. He gets to a cliff, jumps out of the car, lets the car like drive straight into the Sharknado, and it explodes within the Sharknado, and the tornado or Sharknado disperses, raining sharks down on everybody, and that's that scene. So he's done it. He's done it.
Okay, I'll buy that for $1.
Finn races back to his family with a chainsaw. I don't know where he was, maybe in his back pocket. I don't know. And he sees a shark coming straight for his daughter, and he jumps into the shark's mouth with the chainsaw. And to save his annoying daughter, I'd just let her die. I would just fucking die. Just go away. I can make another kid better than you. So he slices his way out of the stomach of the shark with the chainsaw, pulling Nova out as well. So apparently, out of the billions of sharks that are going around, he happened to jump into the only shark, the shark that Nova got eaten by, and she's still alive. And the shark is big enough to have 2 fully grown adult humans in its stomach, and it's no problem. And all is well. The end.
Yeah, when Finn jumped into the shark and the shark ate him whole, I was like, no fucking. At that point, I'm going to turn this off. but listen, when he started sawing through the shark, I was like, oh fuck it, why not? Come out of it, and and then when he came out all bloody and shit, I was like, okay. But then when he went back in, I was like, pull her out, and I was like, he's gonna pull Nova out, and I got so happy. I was like, she's alive. It doesn't make sense. It makes no fucking sense at all.
No.
And it just works. And here's another thing.
Yeah.
So Dean and I talked about how a relationship is set up between a possible relationship is set up between Nova and Finn. Finn, thank you. And for some reason, during the last sequence of this movie, Finn gets back together with Tara Reid that does nothing in this movie.
No.
And it seems like Finn's son is going to get together with Nova, which is like, what? And why? But yeah. Do you want to go over to your trivia?
Yeah, and look, guys, like I said, this movie is a fun movie. When I watched this movie for the first time when it first came out, I didn't watch it with my screenwriter's brain. I just watched it knowing it would be stupid. And I enjoyed it because it's stupid and it's popcorn, and it really is one of those movies that takes you out of your life. I mean, it is. It's whatever you're experiencing, you can literally put on Sharknado, and it's just so stupid. You don't think about anything other than how stupid it is, which is kind of what movies are supposed to do. It's not supposed to be good. They never marketed it like it was Oscar worthy, like it was going to win awards, like it was high level acting. They just said, here's a movie, we hope you enjoy it, which is all sci-fi movies. So I don't mind this movie as something that is just stupid. So it's a good movie because it's supposed to be stupid. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just fun. It's just fun. But this is a screenwriting podcast, so we kind of had to review it like that. But it's a fun movie. But anyway, disclaimer over. My trivia. The movie was shot in 18 days, but even then I feel like that was too long. I feel like this movie could have been shot in a week.
18 days is too long.
Too long. Next piece of trivia is exactly what you said before. Ian Ziering said that he hated the script, but agreed to star in the film for financial reasons in order to qualify for the SAG health insurance. So there you go. You were right.
Oh, that's time. Yeah, that's timely,
isn't it? Isn't it?
Because so many actors don't have health insurance, which is.
I think someone. I was listening to someone the other day, and they said 80% of SAG members don't earn enough to qualify for the health insurance, which is fucked.
Yeah, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, it is.
If you ask me.
It is. The next piece of trivia I have for you is, okay, these are the actors that were approached for the role of April before Tara Reid got it. Terry Hatcher, Rebecca Romaine. They're too good.
Oh well. Oh, they're too good.
They're too
and
good.
I'm
for
so
Sharknado.
happy. I'm so happy that they said no.
Yeah, me too.
Because if Terry Hatcher would we're not guys. I love this movie. Was so much fun to watch, but as I was watching this movie, I felt my brain cells dying.
Yeah, look, I think the screenwriter of this movie should go and learn how to be a barista. Maybe he would be good at that. We don't know. My last piece, and I don't like putting screenwriters down, but
No,
I feel like,
I
there's no need to be shit. Like, you're getting paid to do something that we want to get paid to do, and we are actually, like, not bad. So that's what shits me.
Look, as I've gotten further into my career, I've become very, very uncomfortable when I'm talking about other writers. But when writers do something this egregious, I have to.
Yeah, no, me too. My last piece of trivia is Lindsay Lohan turned down the role of Nova. She has no business turning down roles. Just FYI. No business. But that's it. That's the last of my trivia.
That really shocked me. That really?
Yeah.
Like, because... All right. All right. Well, with all the trivia out of the way and done with, folks, if you guys like this episode, or if you guys liked any of our past episodes and you want to email us for comments or requests, you can send us an email at themixtapepod@aol.com, or you can go over to YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/themixtapepodcast. You can leave us a comment, or you can subscribe there to watch our future episodes. But if you're going to come back next week for the season finale of season 4, we'll be talking about Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So until then, if someone is ever kind enough to make you a mixtape, that must truly mean that they love you.
The Mixtape Podcast is a Balloonhead Productions presentation.